I cannot believe it. Again, a report about safety issues at Boeing. Stay tuned to hear and see what's new, and actually what's not new at all, unfortunately, because Boeing has a history of not dealing properly with safety issues, simply in order to make more money. I'll post in the description links to the original articles and videos which prove what I've been mentioning. And before you and I forget, like and subscribe so you won't miss any new videos, any updates about what's going on in the aviation world. And feel free to share this video and my channel with others who may like it. So, what's new? Well, if you go back a few years, we remember that Al Jazeera made a whole report about safety issues at the Boeing factory where the Boeing 787 was being built. And now again there's a whistleblower who came out and who mentioned that 25% of the oxygen masks would not deliver oxygen in case of an emergency, which means that easily 25% of the people may get seriously harmed or even die if there's a sudden pressure loss in the cabin for whatever reason. And there is more. KLM just received their Boeing 787-10, just in August, and they were really not pleased with the issues. And I will just read to have the right details, and I will put the statement on screen now. And just some examples of the defects, and this means that's not all of it. Loose seats, very safe. Missing or incorrect installed split pins, whatever that is. Nuts that are not fully tightened, and an unattached fuel pipe clamp. That is really serious stuff. When it comes to fuel, that means kaboom! If something in the fuel pipes is not properly installed, if something is laying around loose in the fuel tanks, it can result in a spark or in a leak, and that means death of everyone on board. You cannot play with this kind of shit. Head of safety at Boeing should be fired instantly and should be prosecuted for this. This is totally unacceptable. It's like they haven't learned anything from what happened in the past year. People have died. Is 346 deaths not enough in 1 year? Do they really want more deaths? And back in the summer 1989, when the first Boeing 747-400 would be delivered to KLM, the first one in Europe actually, KLM refused the delivery many times in a row, until finally Boeing changed what KLM was demanding and what the Dutch aviation authorities was demanding. There was no EASA back then. And all these changes were then also implemented in the next to be built aircraft.
I think that there are some things in there, for example, some of the electrical separation that are probably good ideas that we'll do on all of the airplanes.
So Boeing has a history of not delivering aircraft that are safe, that are well finished. They just rush the job simply to make more profit. And it's rushing the job that is what these whistleblowers have been pointing at. Because there's so much pressure, because there's so much speed required, they just deliver crap. And when you look at most press releases of Boeing, it's about the aircraft will be certified, the aircraft will fly. Safety and what they are doing to improve the safety comes second or third. Money first, money first, money first. And that's unacceptable. And I wonder when this will change, or who will take the necessary action so that Boeing is really forced to change something in its policies, to stop cutting corners, to stop cutting costs at all costs, because that's what they're doing. They want to deliver the aircraft as cheap as possible by squeezing their suppliers, squeezing their employees, and that's not how you build safe aircraft. That's not how you deliver safe aircraft. That's also the reason why the certification of the 737 MAX was such a disaster. Why there were so many mistakes, so many irregularities, why the FAA did not know what was going on, why pilots did not know that there was an MCAS system and how it was functioning and how it could go wrong, and also why they would have a system built on one sensor only while there are two sensors on the aircraft and not have any redundancy installed, or not having applied the same system they had for a 767 military cargo transporter, which also has the MCAS system, but a better functioning system. But they were too lazy, or whatever reason it was probably costs again, that they didn't install that system on the 737 MAX. Probably it had to do with the certification, as it was for the military, and costs are not that important there. Otherwise they wouldn't be flying all these old aircraft, because they cost a lot to maintain and to fuel, but okay. So yeah, certification costs, training costs, all that was crucial, and they had to be kept down. Otherwise they would not be able to compete with Airbus. Yeah, that's a fact. Boeing cannot compete with Airbus when it comes to the 737. MAX or no MAX. The Airbus A320neo is simply a better aircraft. And Boeing had to go out of its way and had to cheat, cut corners and cheat to be competitive. And the question is, will they get away with it? Will the American government allow this to happen? Because until now, even if there were some mildly tough questions asked to Muhlenberg, the real questions were not asked. He was not asked how it was possible to have no redundancy installed on a new system, and how all the cost cutting and the corner cutting was made possible. The real questions were not asked. And of course, people in the Senate don't know too much about technology, so you cannot blame them. But they should have asked some pilots. Oh, and did you know that again there was a problem with the 737 MAX, this time a simulator. During a simulation there was almost a crash. So, problem not solved yet. Let's see where this will go. I'm sorry, it's not a positive video this time again about the 737 and Boeing, but there's no way to be positive. I hope more people will realize that this is not acceptable, and more people will speak out and put more pressure on Boeing to really change things. Let's see if the next video can be a little bit more positive. If you dislike the video, you do this. If you liked it, thumbs up, share and subscribe. Also, check out my Patreon page. There you can support me and get access to exclusive content. Get more. Check it out in the link below.